It's now more than a month since Russia invaded Ukraine, thinking it could knock it over in a couple of days, but it's lost because Ukrainians have fought like heroes. They've fought like we didn't believe possible, probably because we don't think that we would have fought like that. And they fought like it was something you just naturally do when your freedom is threatened, like it's almost cool. And Russia on Friday essentially admitted it's lost this war by announcing a change of tactics. It would now not focus on capturing the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, but just the two provinces in Ukraine's far east. But meanwhile, Russia keeps firing missiles into Ukrainian cities, keeps committing war crimes, and US President Joe Biden, on his visit to Europe last week to talk about all this, still refused to help Ukraine with air cover or with the transfer to Ukraine of jets donated by Poland. He reckons that would just start World War III. But Biden on his visit projected another kind of weakness as well. But saying something unscripted that was tough and you think also true, Putin must go, great, listen to this.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. We will have a different future, a brighter future of decency and dignity, of freedom and possibilities. For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
But just minutes later, Biden's aides were briefing journalists saying, oh, sorry, the president misspoke. He wasn't really calling for a regime change. And Biden also backed down when he got back home. How do you make yourself look weak? Anyway, we missed the grab of him saying, no, I didn't say that. Joining me from Ukraine's capital is Lesia Vasylenko, a Ukrainian MP from the Holos Party, which is pro-European, centre-right. Lesia Vasylenko, thank you so much for your time. Joe Biden was actually right, wasn't he? Of course, Vladimir Putin cannot stay president of Russia after this brutal and failed invasion and after all these war crimes.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. For one, the war crimes go on. The atrocities are being committed as we speak in such towns as Chernihiv, as Mariupol, Kharkiv even. But at the same time, it doesn't stop Ukrainians from coming back to these towns and from actually, coming back to their homes and fighting for their country, even with more vigor and with more strength.
Now, there have been reports of Russia now kidnapping Ukrainian children. What do you know about that?
We have reports the same as you do. Our reports are coming from our human rights spokesperson, Lyudmila Denisova, who has given the statistics of up to 40,000 people, 2,000 of whom are children, who have been forcibly removed from the territory of Ukraine and been transported to Russia to so-called humanitarian camps, but essentially these are filtration camps because the Russian army and the Russian officials are going through the possessions of these people. They are looking at their phones, they are looking at their images, and they are searching for the active element of the Ukrainian population, meaning those people who may have been involved in the encountering Russia's aggression in 2014 onwards, people who are volunteering with the army, people who are volunteering just providing humanitarian aid and with a strong Ukrainian position. And those people are then removed from those filtration camps. We never know where they go. We never know what is their fate, what happens to them. The rest of the people are offered great opportunities to start a new life somewhere in remote areas of Russia, such as Sakhalin or somewhere down in Siberia. All this looks very much like 1944 and the repression years which Ukraine has endured already during Soviet rule.
Lesia Vasylenko, Russia has said that it now wants to focus on grabbing just those eastern areas, Donetsk and Luhansk. Your President Zelensky has now told Russian journalists he is open to talks about that area, who's going to control bits of what. Is a peace deal now finally possible, do you think?
When Putin speaks, don't believe one single word of what he says. That is the rule that we Ukrainians learned to live by, well, at least in the last 33 days of war now. So when Putin declared that he will now concentrate his forces in phase 2 just on the eastern parts of Ukraine, on that very same day, he launched missiles on Lviv, which is not East Ukraine at all. It's the westernmost part. It's very close to the Ukraine-Poland border. So I would be very wary and doubtful of what Putin is saying and what Putin is promising. As to the possibility to strike a deal, we'll see how that goes. Negotiations are on the way just today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So we have 3 days of negotiations happening right now as we speak. For Ukraine to be even thinking of giving up these territories, there must be something on the other end that would really, not just compensate for it, but provide a guarantee of security, not just to Ukraine, but for the whole entire world. And at the moment, to be frank, I don't really see what that could be. The thing is, if we give up any of our territories immediately, you have to understand that we're giving incentive and inspiration, not just to Putin, but to all other dictators and authoritarian leaders out there to go ahead and grab territories and start aggressive wars, because they know that they will not be punished for it, but that they can actually end up going away from it with bits and pieces of land grabbed. So that would be wrong, essentially, not just for Ukraine and Ukrainians, but for the whole entire world. So to be honest, again, I don't really see how that can turn out and how we can negotiate around that.
It is an absolute nightmare, and I found it very interesting that President Zelensky's talk with those Russian journalists about a possible way to reach a peace deal. Russia actually banned those journalists from reporting those terms. How about that? That tells you so much. Lesia Vasylenko, thank you so much for your time. Please keep safe, and we're wishing you, well, a lot of Australians are right behind you. I wish we could do more. Thank you for your time.